Welcome everyone. I'm just going to run through a little bit of housekeeping and then hand over to the main event. First of all, please do put any questions into the chat as you think of them. James and I will be monitoring this throughout and we'll raise questions with Matt if he has not already answered them, of course. In the event that there are still loads of unanswered questions at the end, we'll aim to send out a summary of those questions and answers by email. As you can see, the session is being recorded and we're going to aim to get the recording up on EECA's website as soon as possible for anyone who was unable to attend today or for anyone who is here and just wants a refresher on what Matt is about to present. Just a quick round of intros. I'm Meg Wakefield, Sector and Indirect Lead at EECA. For those of you not familiar with EECA, we're a Crown entity and our mission is to mobilise New Zealanders to be world leaders in clean and clever energy use. A couple of the ways we achieve this is through targeted support and information, so getting feedback directly from industry in order to understand what the key energy challenges and opportunities are is really critical to making sure that we're focusing on the right things. And on that note, I'll hand over to James to introduce himself and NRC, who are one of our key sector partners.
Thanks, Meg, and welcome everybody. So this idea came about because I have actually been an EROAD customer and user, and I know how easy it is to, if you are a user of a system, not to even fully understand all the features you've got available because you're so used to dealing with the stuff you do on your day-to-day and fail to notice there's actually other tabs that can be opened and other things that can be done. And as we enter into this sort of era where everybody's got a renewed focus on fuel, it's thought it was a really good idea that we get an expert like Matt to come along and just explain how to get the most value out of a system that most of you already have. So with that aside, I'll turn my camera off, so we'll leave it over to Matt and he can get us underway.
All right, thanks everybody. Welcome, my name is Matt Buckle. I've been at EROAD for about 8 years now, and I get a lot of joy out of bringing this information through to some of our customers because I want everybody to get the maximum value out of this system. So as Meg mentioned, so if you do have any questions, put them in the chat and we will address those either at the end of the presentation or potentially as we go through. I'm going to go through a few parts of the system today, starting with the dashboard, and then I'm going to move to drivers and driver login. I'm going to move to groups, and then we're going to go through the reporting suite as well and have a look at some of the fuel and sustainability reports that are going to help you guys save some money out there in the market because, as we all know at the moment, the cost of fuel is a significant challenge. Right, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So the My EROAD platform, before we start, if your screen does not look like this, you are more than likely still on the old depot platform. Up the top left-hand corner there, as you can see, there is a My EROAD map. If you click that, that will show you the old platform. If you are on that old platform, please move over to the new platform. It's easier to use. There's more information in there, and the interface is it's just a lot nicer, a lot cleaner. So we're going to move to dashboard first. So dashboard at the top left-hand corner. This feature was specifically designed so as an organization or a fleet manager, you can come straight into this platform and see what is due in your fleet. So that could be, do I have any driver's licenses that are out of date? Do I have any devices that are not connected to the system correctly? Do I have any vehicles that are overdue for a service? Or is it having a look at my top drivers or any vehicles that maybe need to be assigned within the system? The great thing about the dashboard platform is up the top right-hand corner, if you go to the edit functionality, you can add and remove the cards that you can see on this screen. So it can be just relevant to you as your role or you as your organization, and have a quick look and see what is due, what's coming up, and do I need to actually address anything today? So again, the dashboard functionality on the far left-hand side, right at the top, you select that and it's going to start showing you these maneuverable cards that you can see. So at a glance, I can see, and this is our personal fleet, our sales fleet that we're showing. We do not have any vehicles that are due for road user charges. We've got a lot of demo information in here, so that's why there's lots of red numbers. but we can see there's 17 licenses that are due for or have expired. I can go directly through to the drivers section just by clicking through here. The same with we've got 20 devices that have not spoken to the EROAD platform in over 24 hours. I can go down here and view the offline devices. Vehicles that are due for servicing, same thing. We've got 9 vehicles that are due for a service. I can click on view servicing, and that's going to show me which vehicles are actually due. The dashboard feature is very, very useful for you to jump in on a Monday morning and have a look and say, what have I got due this week, or what's coming up that I need to address. Moving on from dashboard, we're going to go down and have a look at drivers. The driver functionality has just changed. So if you are using the old platform, it will look like this, okay? Where you have your drivers listed down the left-hand side. There's a new experience up the top. Hit the little red tab or the grey tab and turn it red, and you'll get to see the new driver experience. Now, please make sure that your plan that you're using does have driver login as a feature. Driver login is fantastic because it gives complete transparency about who is driving your vehicles. Especially if you have multiple drivers driving vehicles, sometimes it can be difficult to track and find out who was driving that vehicle when something happened. If you do not have driver login feature, please call our 0800 for EROAD number and have a chat to the team there and ask them, how do I get this on my vehicles? Looking at the drivers here, if we want to load new drivers, now if you do not have any drivers loaded, you can do a bulk upload, a bulk import. You click on the bulk import button here, and that's going to take you through to show you a template that you fill out, and then you upload that template and it will do everything for you into the system. If you would like to just add another driver, come down to the driver add button here, and that's going to give you a range of fields here that you need to fill out and add a driver. We're going to go through and add a couple of drivers here. We can see, so it already creates an alias there for myself. I can put my mobile number in there if I'd like to, and my email address. Only the fields with the red star are a necessity. So we can put so driver's license certification, so you can put in there what licenses are held. So it could be a 1, a 2, an RTF, and a W. The expiry date, the ID number. I'm not going to put my license number in there because and then we're going to go down and turn on any of the features that we need and add the groups that are applicable to this driver directly down here under organization. We'll get to groups in a second. That's a good question. So again, into the driver section, down to drivers, and across to add a driver. Again, if you haven't got those any drivers loaded at all, go to the bulk import and you can do it all in one spreadsheet. It's a whole lot easier. From drivers, we are going to move down to show you groups. Now, I recommend with groups, if you do not have groups set up, call our 0800 for EROAD number and the support team will assist you in setting up groups. I'm going to go show you quickly just how to do this. Through the admin section, you're going to go down to groups and fleets. Then it will show you a range of groups if you have some. If you do not, you can create a new group. Match group. I can hit submit. And then once that group is created, Matt's group is here, and I can manage the vehicles in this group. So this is where I'm going to add or remove vehicles from this group. I select this button here, manage vehicles in group. It's going to bring a little pop-up screen, and this is where I'm going to select vehicles out of my organization to add them into a group. I'm going to select, we're going to pick my vehicle, so I can just hit the arrow, or I can click and drag it across and hit save. That is now an active group in the My EROAD platform, and I can report on and attribute that group to particular users. So if I have people in my organization that I only want them to see a certain amount of vehicles or a certain group, I can create that group and assign that group to those vehicles. If you need some help with that, then our 0800 for EROAD support team will be available to assist with that. Going from groups, we're going to spend a bit of time today in the reporting functionality. Great point there, James. Vehicles can belong in multiple groups. So you can have multiple groups with that with vehicles aligned with multiple groups. Right, down to the reporting functionality. This is where you're going to get the powerful information. So the standard reporting suite, you may have a few less on your screen because I'm an administrative user, but there's a range of standard reports here that you'll be able to view as a user. Really important you go through and have a look at some of these reports and see what's valid and useful for your fleet. The first one we're going to look at today is the fleet summary report. So the fleet summary report is quite self-explanatory. It is going to give you a summary of what's been going on with your fleet. It will default to the month that you are in, and it will give you items along the lines of total distance that vehicle has done, ruck that has been purchased for that vehicle, running time, idle time, number of overspeed events, some very valuable information that you'll be able to make some informed decisions with. So we're going to go back to last month for give us a complete month of information. What you'll find is the bigger your fleet, sometimes it may take a few seconds for this to download because it's collecting a whole lot of information and populating it into this report. I'm also going to show you how to schedule this report so you save it so it can just arrive in your inbox once a day, week, or month, whenever you like. So we can see here, looking at last month, April 2026, that our sales fleet or our support fleet did 44,709 kilometers for the month. We only purchased $785 in road user charges. Our running time was 1,423 hours of runtime. We did 77 kilometers off-road. It gives us an estimated refund of off-road mileage. And then all of the vehicles are listed down here on the left-hand side. Great thing about this report is if there's one thing in particular that you want to have a look at, let's say total distance. I want to know who did the most distance out of our fleet last month. I can click on this column here twice, and it's going to show the highest number at the top. So we can see our spare vehicle that we've got did 3,174 kilometers. Underneath that was one of our other team members, 2,889. This guy here did 2,857. As we move across there, we can see running time, we can see stopped time, we can see idle time, we can see site visits, and we can also see overspeed events. Overspeed events is obviously a big one when it comes to fuel because the faster your fleet are going, the more fuel they are using. So if we wanted to have a look and see who the winner was, it was one of our development team. Again, so you can just select the column that you would like to see as the highest number, click on it twice, and it will filter those as necessary. Now, one of the greatest things about this report is you can schedule it to arrive in your inbox. So go across to the top right-hand corner where it says Tools. Select Tools and go down to Schedule this report. I'm going to schedule this report. Now, I'm going to call this whatever I want. We're going to call it a monthly fleet summary report. I'm going to add it for a monthly cycle, and I'm going to add it as a PDF and an Excel. And as soon as I hit Add, from that point on, it's going to, we can add recipients in there as well. So if you've got team members in there that you'd like them to receive this, you can add them in there. But as soon as I hit Add, it's going to start sending me this report on the first of each month. The great thing there is I arrive in, I open my laptop, and that report is sitting there waiting for me. I don't need to go into the system to find it. Again, so we're going to go through that again. Once we've populated the report, we're going to go over to the Tools section, go down to Schedule this report, change the name if we would like, and we can add in recipients that can receive it, and we're going to select what we would like to, format we'd like to receive that in, and then click Add. We can also download this report. We can download it as a PDF or an Excel. As soon as you click either of those options, it's going to pop up on your screen and show you both of those formats. Moving to the next report, which is, I believe, very important for you guys in the market right now, the idle report. Idling is absolutely huge at the moment because the average Isuzu CXH truck uses approximately 4 litres of diesel at idle right now. So that is a huge amount of fuel which is being wasted. Now, there is a culture within the transport industry where a lot of drivers think, I'm just going to pull up to my location, I'll leave the truck running because I'm only going to be here for 10 or 15 minutes. It's more optimal, it's better for the vehicle to be at an optimal temperature. But those days have changed, right? Metals are different that are being used in the engines. There's alloys being used. They don't need to be left running to be efficient. In fact, it is better for them to turn it off. I have recently done an idle project with a large enterprise customer that had 400 vehicles in their fleet, and they were spending $8,000 a month just at idle. Get your team on board, all right? Show them that they don't need to have those vehicles idling. They can turn them off and save you guys a significant amount of money and fuel. I know it doesn't sound like much when they just sit there idling for 10 or 15 minutes, but even a Toyota Hilux uses 1 litre of diesel every hour of idle. So it's really important that we talk to our teams and get them, hey guys, turn the vehicles off as soon as you get to site. Please don't leave them running. Obviously, there are some other conditions. If you have a policy in your business where people need to pull over to the side of the road and take phone calls instead of using their Bluetooth, or if they're working down the desert road and there's snow, or if they're in an extremely hot area and they need air conditioning, that's different. But majority of the time, we can save a whole lot of fuel by turning these vehicles off. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you that again. So I've gone to the reporting suite, I've clicked on idle, and it's going to show me the idling events that have happened in the last couple of days. Well, starting this week. So we can see I purposefully did some idling for you guys just to show you. But I'm going to hover over the orange bar here, and I can see I've had 2 events with between 10 and 15 minutes of idling. The bottom right-hand corner, you will see a little key down here, which is going to tell you what those colors actually mean. Again, so hover over it. I've had 2 events at 10 to 15 minutes, and I've had 3 events at 15 plus minutes. If I click on that colored bar, it will take me to another screen and show me the exact location of where I had that idling. So we can see here, my location, there was idling at that location for 19 minutes at home. I was on a phone call and I didn't want to go inside and see the kids. Give me a break. Another one near Tarapa in Waikato. We can see idled there for 17 minutes. Right. So through that report, it will take you to where that idling is actually happening just by clicking on the colored bar. If we want to go down here and have a look at another vehicle, let's find another one down here. Let's find this vehicle here. So one event from 10 to 15 minutes. Again, I click on that colored bar. It's going to show me exactly where that vehicle was. Little blue dot in the middle of the screen there. All available from that idling report. Now, if you would like to receive this idle report on a regular basis, please do this because it is going to change your world. Go over to the tools section on the far right hand side, select schedule this report. You can call it whatever you would like. You can add in the fleets that you would like to be relevant to. You can set it for a daily or weekly occurrence. You can have it run for the next 6 to 12 months, and you can have it come in as a PDF or CSV or both if you would like. Hit add, and then that will be sent through on the Monday. Right, so up the top here, we can select the date and change the dates around if we want to. So if we want to have a look at last week, we can see the vehicles from last week that had idling events. If you just want to focus for the start, right, like this is a big change for a culture in your fleet, big change for your team, you can just focus on the ones that are causing the most idling events. Come down to the bottom right-hand corner, untick the 2 colors there, yellow and orange, and it will just give you those vehicles that are doing a lot of idling over 15 minutes. That is your idle report. Back to the reporting suite. We're now going to look at Leaderboard. A lot of you will know about Leaderboard, but we're going to go through it. So select Leaderboard in the driver's reports. The Leaderboard report is one of the most powerful features that we've actually built in the EROAD platform. So this is so widely used in the industry now. We have drivers that actually take their star rating and use it in their CV for job applications because it's so widely recognized. Now, it's really important that you understand the star rating is created over the whole EROAD community. Okay, so to be a 5-star driver, you have to be in the top 10% of all 160,000 vehicles that we track. So if you have team members that are 5-star drivers, I highly recommend that you at least recognize them in front of their peers when you see them in the lunchroom or you see them walking around, hey, Matt, fantastic work. We appreciate you're a 5-star driver. I saw it come through the other day. That's great. You're doing the best driving out there. And remember, highlight to them, you're in the top 10% of the whole EROAD community. So we can see here, looking at the leaderboard report, the rank column that you can see here is the ranking out of your company. The star rating is evaluated over the entire EROAD community. And then the arrow change we can see here is what that driver has been doing in terms of their star rating. Have they been going up in ranking and going up in star? Have they been going up in ranking and their star rating, or are they staying the same, or are they going down? And then on the right-hand side, we can see here how many ranks they have actually changed in the last 28 days. If we scroll, I'm usually near the bottom, but I don't think I am at the moment. Look at that 5-star driver moving up 9 places in the world, making good life choices. Now, if I wanted to have a look at my information here and go, what causes my 5-star rating? I'm going to select my name or select the vehicle. It's going to produce the information over here on the right-hand side. So in the last 30 days, we can see I've traveled 2,819 kilometers. That's down 34% on what I did last month. Total running hours, 56, down 36%. I've had 2 harsh acceleration events, 5 harsh braking events, and 1 overspeed event for the last 30 days. So it starts to give you an idea of what that driver is doing. And please recognize your team if they are 4- and 5-star drivers. 4- and 5-star drivers actively work hard to be safe and efficient drivers. Okay. The only thing that's going to affect your star rating is the harsh braking and the overspeed events. And some vehicles will be affected by idling. So if you don't want idling to affect your star rating, please call the 0800 4 EROAD number and ensure that that feature is turned off. I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to receive this report on a regular basis. What am I going to do? I'm going to schedule it to come in. So I'm going to go to the right-hand side to the tools function. I'm going to go to schedule this report. It's going to pop up a create schedule tab. And I'm going to go through it. I'm going to name the report. I'm going to have it come in so every 7 days, and I want it weekly, and I want it on a Monday at lunchtime to arrive, and I'm going to set an expiry date, and I would like it in a PDF format. As soon as I hit save, that report will start coming in from that date. Again, great for if you just want that information arrived in your inbox. You don't have to go and find it. It will be there waiting for you. I'm going to show you how to do that again. So we're going into the reporting functionality. We're going down to the driver leaderboard. The system will collate the information and bring it up on the screen. And I'm going to be able to view what my vehicles are doing. Now, before some of you ask, and I know this question is coming, Matt, what about if I've got drivers that are driving multiple vehicles? What a great question, Matt. So we're going to go over and we can actually change, as we see here, click here for vehicle leaderboard. If we move across, we can select driver leaderboard. So that is going to be applicable if you've got drivers driving multiple vehicles. You can select driver leaderboard and it will change to the drivers that you have in your fleet. Once that information comes through, we can see that there. And if we want to schedule that report, I'm just going to wait for it to load a second. There we go. If we want to schedule that report, we can come over to the right-hand side to the tools section and go down to schedule this report. Another great thing, when you get a chance, pop in here and have a look at the using the leaderboard video. That's going to provide you with a whole lot of information, more than what I've actually shown you probably. So the driver leaderboard, exceptionally powerful, creates gamification within your fleet. I've got a couple of fleets that what they actually do is every month they put up only the 4- and 5-star drivers in the lunchroom, right? Because what you want to do is create that positive culture. So if you have the 4- and 5-star drivers up there and I'm a 3-star, nobody knows that I'm a 3-star. So, but I do. So I'm going to go, I actually want to be a 4- and 5-star. I want my name up there. So I'm going to be better at my driving. What we've found is sometimes if you populate all of the star ratings, some of the team lose that will or lose that that drive to be better because I'm a 2-star driver anyways. I don't care because I'm way down the bottom. It's slightly embarrassing for that driver. So what we want to do is promote the positive driving culture. So the 4 and 5-star drivers are definitely the ones to show if you're comfortable doing that within your organization. Next on the reporting suite, we're going to go down to the off-road ruck report. Please do this. Please do this. The off-road ruck report, so down to the tax section, go to the right-hand side, select ruck off-road reports. This is going to pull all of the information from your electronic ruck devices, the EROAD or the eHubbo 2 devices. Those devices recognize when they are off-road according to NZTA's policy, and they will calculate all of that information and mileage off-road and then populate it into this report. Once the ruck license label has finished, then you can claim that license. You do have to claim a minimum of $20, but for you in the heavy transport market, that is probably going to be a couple of days, right? The system does this automatically in terms of putting the information together. All you have to do is submit this information to NZTA. You don't have to print out any forms and sign any forms and send them away. It's all done electronically. All you have to do is come into the ruck off-road report. So again, into the reporting section, down to tax, and go to the ruck off-road reports. Right, it's going to give us an estimation down there. So we've got $20.69. We've got a light fleet, so we don't do a lot of off-road. But to make that claim, what I'm going to do is come up to the top left-hand corner, tick the box here. That's going to select all of the licenses that are available to be claimed. I'm going to go down to the bottom right-hand corner and go submit RUCOR to NZTA. RUCOR is road user charges off-road. I'm going to select my most relevant industry out of the drop-down box. I'm going to certify that I've read the notes for applicant on page 2 and clarify the particulars given to the RUCOR are correct. Tick that box and hit the submit button. That's all you will need to do. And then NZTA will put that money back into your account, which is aligned with the account on the electronic ruck or for your ruck purchasing in EROAD. They will put that money back into that account, not via us. It comes directly via NZTA. Usually takes 5 to 7 working days. But please be aware, if you have never done an off-road claim before, you will need to call NZTA and get an off-road number. You only need to do this once, okay? Once you have got that off-road number, and Meg is going to put the contact number that you need to call NZTA on to get that. Once you've got that off-road number, call our 0800 for EROAD support team. Tell them you've got an off-road number that you would like to apply to your organization, and then you will be able to claim that ruck. You can do this 2 years retrospectively. So the system will calculate up to 2 years retrospectively. This is free money, okay? The system does all of this for you. Once you have your off-road number from NZTA, you can go through and submit it. And I highly recommend do this every 3 months or every 6 months. Put a calendar event in your calendar and just remind yourself to do it. It's a few seconds to do, right? You can literally come down to the reporting suite, you scroll down, select off-road reports, tick the box, hit submit, and then that's it. Then it's done. Money is arriving back into your account, right? This report, you can't schedule this report. This is a ruck claim report, but as I say, put it in your calendar to do every 3 to 6 months and get some free money back because of your off-road mileage. Moving to the next report, scroll down all the way down to fuel and energy. This is a huge focus at the moment, as everybody knows. So there's a range of fuel reports in the MyEROAD platform. You need to have your fuel transactions connected to the MyEROAD platform, right? If you do not have fuel integration connected, please call our 0800 for EROAD number and just say to the team, we would like to connect our fuel usage to the MyEROAD platform. They will go through the process. There is a little bit of work involved in getting authority to get access to your information. Once that is available, all of the information will start coming through on a nightly basis. That means that the fuel that I purchased today will come through to the system tomorrow. Very important that you have transparency of what's going on in your fleet when it comes to fuel usage, not only for the efficiency of your fleet, but also to be responsible, right? Like we need to we need to know what's going on with our fleet when it comes to fuel usage. So having a look at a couple of these reports, we're going to go to fuel usage first. Fuel usage will bring all of that information directly from your fuel provider into the My EROAD platform. It's going to show you what's going on in terms of distance and fuel usage, quantity of fuel. It's going to give you per 100 kilometer and kilometer per liters. It's going to give you the cost. It's going to give you the CO2 emissions. Everything is all available there for your fleet. This report is great. It saves you going to multiple different places for information on your fleet. This will, as I said, mentioned, it's going to come directly from your fuel provider. So if we go across to the tools section, we're going to schedule this report again. Here we go, down to schedule this report. Select on and call it what we would like. We're going to add the groups that we want, and then we're going to have that come in for the next 6 to 12 months. We're going to go 12 months, and we're going to have it as a PDF. We're going to click add. As soon as I click add, the first of each month, that report is going to come through to my inbox. Again, we're going to go down to reports, scroll to the bottom, fuel usage. You can select the groups if you would like up here. It's going to give you some totals for the month so far. And we're going to go across to tools, schedule this report, and hit add once we've told it what we want. Next on the fuel reports, fuel exception reporting, very important. The fuel exception report is going to give you 3 different exceptions. I'm going to go back to a couple of months ago. The 3 exceptions that you will get from this report, one is the fuel card allocated to that vehicle being used in the same location as that vehicle, right? So is the fuel card that is attributed to my vehicle, was my vehicle in the same location or was it not in the same location? Let's find one. I'm pretty sure there was one for last month. This happens regularly with our team because our team will grab rental cars or sometimes share a fuel card. Now that's fine. It happens almost in every fleet. What this provides is some transparency of what's going on. So is my fuel card being used when my vehicle is not in the same location? I would like to know that if that was the case. The second thing that this is going to highlight is, as we can see there, diesel was used on this fuel card. This vehicle is a petrol that's allocated to this fuel card. Why was diesel being used on this fuel card? And the third exception that's going to bring up is what's the consumption doing on this vehicle, right? Has it gone up significantly? Has it gone down significantly? What's the reason for that? Now, in a lot of times, it can be things like the person driving that vehicle has got a digger on the back and he's filled up the digger at the same time on the same fuel card, so it's going to spike the consumption. That's fine. That's not a problem. What it's going to do, though, is provide that transparency for your organization. So very good report to have scheduled, up to the tools section, down to schedule this report. Same thing here. We're going to select how long we want it for, PDF or CSV, and hit add. I'm going to go through that again, down to the reports section, scroll to the bottom, fuel exception report on the left-hand side. Open up that, it will populate for any information for that week or in this month we're going back to. And then we're going to go to tools and schedule this report. Next on the fuel reporting, wouldn't it be great if I could know that the Ford Rangers in my fleet were actually not doing too bad to the rest of the industry? Well, have I got a deal for you? The fuel efficiency report is going to give you that information. It's going to anonymously compare your information to the rest of the industry. And it's going to give you an indication, are my vehicles using more than the average compared to everybody else in the industry? So if we have a look at, if we scroll down to, we can see here, we're going to pick a couple of the X Trails we've got here. So we've got both of these vehicles. So this is comparing all of the Nissan X Trails that we have in our system, right? And whether the vehicles that we've got on our fleet are doing better, medium, or worse than the rest that we track across the industry. So we can see that both of these vehicles here, they're doing they're on the low side of fuel usage compared to the rest in the industry that we're tracking. If we come down here, we can see this guy here. He's a mediocre guy, I'm not going to lie, all right? He's right in the middle there, so that's about normal. We can see that the vehicle above him is using more fuel than what it should be. Okay, so great comparison report here. Go across to tools, schedule this report. It's going to create the schedule here, and you can name it, select it for as long as you like, and hit save. Again, we're going to go back to that one again, to the reporting suite, scroll to the bottom to the fuel and energy section, go to the fuel efficiency report. That's going to provide you with the fuel efficiency comparison chart that you can have a look at. Great to know whether your team are sort of using more or in the middle or using less than others are in the industry. It's going to give you that comparison. Back to reports. The last one, fuel transaction management. That's going to pull all of your transactions in and provide the transaction date and time, receipt, everything all through here, all your fuel card numbers. And I'm not going to show you too much of that because fuel card numbers can be used for multiple fleets. Look, guys, I think that's a bit of an overview of what's going on with the My EROAD platform. There is a whole lot in this system. Please reach out to our teams if you would like more information. 0800 for EROAD support. We've got a lot of people on that phone line that are happy to help and assist with information. If you just don't quite know what to do or where to go, please reach out to our team. We are happy to help you, okay? We want you guys getting the maximum value out of the solution that you possibly can. Focus on the idle time, focus on your fuel efficiency, and get that accountability and create the gamification across your fleet to be better in the industry, right? Save yourself some money, make sure you're doing those off-road claims. Thank you very much for listening to me harp on. I really do appreciate it. Have we got any questions in the chat?
Hey, Matt. Yes, we had a question come through from Warren earlier. He said that he's a big fan of your fleet day work, and he was wondering if there's any way to integrate any of the reporting with MYOB or Xero, for example, for forecasting purposes.
Great question, Warren. Yes, you can. There are 36 APIs available to all of our customers that are free of charge. All you have to do is call the 0800 for EROAD number, ask them for an API key, or ask them to set up API access for your information. You can pass that on to your third-party software solution that you're using, and you'll be able to integrate those two solutions and be as efficient as possible. Yes.
Are there any other questions out there for EROAD? Still got a few minutes left, so now it's time to ask. Just give it a minute. Here we go, one from Michael. Can you see that, Matt?
Yes, is there any way to see the fuel efficiency benchmark for each asset so we know what to work towards? Great question, Michael. We have to be careful, obviously, anonymizing data and using the data across the My EROAD platform. So we can only show you particular parts of the for benchmarking or efficiency. I believe the best way to do that for you would be go to that reporting suite and go down to that fuel efficiency. That's going to be able to sort of give you a rough benchmark. So those colored icons that we saw, we create that benchmark in the vehicle comparison chart and sort of give you an idea, but we can't tell you the exact number. This is sort of derived on, and it will depend as well. What we find is in winter, quite often we'll actually see fuel usage across large fleets go up. And now whether that's just because there's more people driving and less people sort of either taking the bus, walking, or riding the bikes, compared to summer when we see sort of less fuel being used. At the moment, the only way to set that benchmark and to view that is through that vehicle comparison chart, and it's going to give you an indication through there. Good question, though.
I think it's important when you're using that to understand what type of fleet you've got and what may be the reason why you're, because obviously if you're running a large section of your fleet at the higher end of HPMV, yeah, don't be too surprised if you're slightly below the line, right? Whereas if you're running light freight all the time, you would expect to be above the line.
Absolutely. Look, and the best thing that I can offer in terms of some quick wins for your fleet, right? Focus on idling, right? So find out which vehicles are doing lots of idling and why. Is there a reason why they're idling? Have they got some auxiliary inputs connected in the My EROAD platform, right? So if you have a high-end truck and it's obviously doing a lot of idling because it's sitting there with the HIAB working, please make sure that that HIAB is connected to the My EROAD platform so we can give you accurate information around that idling. Really easy to do. Installer will come out. I think it's like $60 or $80 for an installer to come out and do that, connect up to that HIAB and give you the accuracy around that idling, right? Reward your team members, okay? A tray of donuts, a high five in the lunchroom, just being called out in front of their peers creates a positive culture around driving and safe driving across your fleet. Use that leaderboard product. Okay, if you can't see the leaderboard product in the reporting suite, it means that you are not on the right plan. We need to move you to the right plan. Call the 0800 4 EROAD number. Ask, hey, I want to be able to see leaderboard. What do I have to do? The team will be able to assist you with that. There are some really easy wins that this technology can do for you. Okay, driver login. If you are comfortable with that, or if you've got multiple drivers driving vehicles, absolutely have driver login. It's a 5-second process when you jump into the vehicle. Don't accept drivers saying, hey, I don't have time to log in. It takes 5 seconds on the EROAD device on the eHub02. But those quick wins, focus on idling, reward those drivers that are doing well in your fleet, create them as a driving champion. Right, I'm working with a fleet at the moment in the Waikato here where they are doing a driver incentive program. They are looking at 3 months worth of data and they are rewarding those top 3 drivers with a $100 voucher, and the best driver gets to go around Hampton Downs in a Mustang or a Camaro, right? There's a little bit of cost there, but what I can tell you is the savings will be absolutely immense. Focus on the positive. Sometimes using the big stick is not always the best way. If you need some assistance with this, please reach out to our team. Happy to help, happy to guide you guys. It is our job to make sure you're getting value out of our system.
Now, I've got a question from Ryan. Can you touch on the importance of setting up geofences with off-road area box ticked?
Yes, we can do. So if you have vehicles that are working close by a road, right, but they are still off-road, it is absolutely important to set up an off-road geofence. You can do that via going down into the map. I'm going to select my house because I can. Right, there's already a geofence drawn here, but if I wanted to, I could see the geofences that are here and I could add a geofence. So hypothetically, my fleet are working along, building a new road right beside the road here. I want to make sure that that area is being recorded as off-road, and I'm going to double click once I've finished drawing the geofence. Sorry, to do that, I clicked on the add button up the top left-hand corner. I'm going to name the geofence, so it could be a project site 4, and this one here, I go down to the type, and I'm going to go scroll down to off-road area, right, and tick off-road area. You can also set email notifications if you want to know when vehicles arrive or exit those locations, and then hit save. Once you hit save, that will allocate that area as off-road. So when the off-road report is done, it will take into account the time and mileage that your vehicles are doing within that geofence. As I say, the system will do it automatically to a point, but if you are spending a lot of time right beside the road, we do recommend putting an off-road route geofence in there. Good question, Ryan.
And one more from
Question come in.
from
Yep,
Warren.
so you go.
Yep. How would you suggest using this data to review your fleet and evaluate ICE versus FEV or electric?
Very good question.
I know what I'd do. I'd look at my worst performers and say, how the hell can I get them out of my fleet?
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So suggest using data to review your fleet and evaluate traditional ICE versus PHEV. There's a few ways that you can do that, right? So using that report, the fleet summary report, to give you a bit of an idea of what's going on. So how much mileage are you actually doing in your fleet? How much idling and runtime, right? So if your vehicles are doing a lot of idling, maybe moving to a PHEV. Like if you have a fleet based in Auckland and they spend a significant amount of time sitting in traffic, right? Maybe maybe moving to a PHEV or an EV is the way to go, because we're not wasting that that fuel sitting there idling in traffic at times. One of the other reports that you can use, I won't go into too much detail today with that one, is the Trip Investigator. It is a very detailed report. It's going to tell you information around the trips that those vehicles have done in terms of from point A to point B, took this much time, traveled this much time. So you can start to get an idea of what are the lengths of trips that our fleet is actually doing, right? If they are doing, the majority of our trips are less than 40 or 50 kilometers, then is it better for us to move to an electric vehicle or a PHEV rather than an ICE vehicle? Definitely leverage the data within the MyEROAD platform and find out what is best for your fleet, because it's absolutely the old days of just going, hey, I'm going to go out and buy a new Hilux for my team. It's going to be an SR5 four-wheel drive because that's what they say they need. I've done a project recently for a large enterprise customer where we actually connected an input to the four-wheel drive button of the vehicle, because they wanted to know how often those vehicles were engaging four-wheel drive. Do they need to have a four-wheel drive ute, or can they just have a two-wheel drive ute? What we found, the majority of times that vehicle was connected to four-wheel drive was on a boat ramp. So look, you don't have to trust what people say. You can prove what is going on with your fleet by using the MyEROAD platform and having a look at the data. Okay, if you need assistance with some of the stuff, if you are looking to do a fleet evaluation, feel free to reach out to one of our team. If we don't know, we will happily direct you to an organization that we think you should talk to. But there is absolutely some industry experts out there in the field. Leverage their knowledge. Talk to the fleet management companies. Talk to the car dealers and say, this is what my fleet is doing. What should I be doing? What do you recommend? What's the industry doing? Come along to the EROAD Fleet Days event, which is happening the 5th and 6th of August. That's a plug. I'm real sorry. But there is some industry information there that you won't find anywhere else. Okay, like be present in your fleet and make sure you know what is going on, because it is getting very, very expensive to run fleets nowadays. So
even for the truck side of things, one of the things is if you get an understanding of how many kilometers your trucks are doing on average, because as the alternative fuel vehicles are entering the market, and you know that it's interesting, especially when you're looking at metro operations, how many kilometers are they doing compared with what the range abilities that are coming onto market are. There's an increasing number where it's pretty clear you could switch these to electric, especially if you've got significant existing downtime. You're not going to lose any time either. So yeah, being more aware of what your fleet is, what it's made up of, what's your average daily trips, where are the idling times, where are those vehicles sitting still for that could give you charging opportunities. The more informed you are, then the more options you're going to have when you sit down.
absolutely.
Any more questions trickling in? So it looks like it might be time to wrap up.
Awesome.
So for those of you that were interested in the RUC functions that Matt recommended, I'm just going to drop that the NZTA RUC phone number into the chat again. I'm also going to pop in the 0800 for EROAD number just in case. And also a link to EECA's brand new webpage, which has a whole bunch of fuel saving tips and tricks which have been tailored to fleet operators. This is where the recording will live once we get it ready to post online. And I also recommend jumping in to take a look just once a week or so, as we're going to be continuing to update it with further information and support to supplement that industry-specific advice. So yeah, thank you everyone for making the time to tune in today. And a huge thank you to Matt in particular for his fantastic walkthrough of the EROAD platform functionality, and hopefully how it can better support data-driven decision-making in your business. Thanks everyone.